Was wrong with Adrian Broner post-fight saying he won that fight against Pacquiao? Hell no, he did not. He did not win that fight. Pacquiao was all over him.
We don't have our own house, we don't have land, we don't have even food. We just, we have to work every day to make money to buy food.
What happens when some of the greatest warriors to ever enter a boxing ring all agree on one thing? And what if that one thing is a name, a force of nature, a hurricane in human form, Manny Pacquiao? You see, when legends speak, the world listens. And when legends can't stop talking about how terrifyingly good Manny Pacquiao was in his prime, you know you're dealing with something bigger than just a good fighter. You're dealing with a phenomenon. A phenomenon that punched through weight classes like they were made of paper and moved around opponents like a tornado in sneakers.
So,
that's
Manny P.
That's extremely moving.
Yes,
We're moved.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank
Manny.
you.
Let's face it, boxing has seen some greats. But when the gloves are hung up and the punches have stopped flying, what truly remains are the stories, the gasps, the awe, the disbelief. And Manny Pacquiao is at the center of many of those tales. From shocking legends into silence to making world champions look like amateurs, Pacquiao didn't just fight. He performed miracles, the kind that left even the cockiest pros wiping sweat from their brows in relief. They never had to face him in his prime. Ricky Hatton was one of the brave few who stepped into the fire. And boy did he get scorched. Now this is a guy who had already fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. and lived to tell the tale barely. But when he squared up with Manny Pacquiao, it was like watching a man run head first into a buzzsaw. Hatton, who prides himself on toughness, couldn't hide the truth. Manny's speed wasn't just fast, it was unfair, a blur of destruction, like fighting someone who didn't believe in the laws of physics. And yet, the story doesn't begin or end with Hatton. It's a tale of broken strategies, battered egos, and champions forced to admit that yes, they too fell under the spell of the Pac-Man. Floyd Mayweather, known for his ego as much as his defense, gave Manny his flowers. Not in press conferences, not when the cameras demanded it, but in those rare moments when the truth leaks through a smirk. Mayweather didn't just survive Manny, he escaped him. That's right, escaped.
And he got thoroughly beat decision-wise on that fight. I don't know what he was talking about when he said everybody knows he won the fight. Adrian Broner did not win that fight. And by the way, Jim Gray pointed out accurately, he averaged less than 8 punches around. What did I say when I interviewed him last week, huh, Jim? I said, they say you don't throw punches, man. He said it ain't about how many, it's about the right time.
But let's not skip ahead because every champion Pacquiao faced brought something different to the ring. And each of them walked away changed physically, emotionally, spiritually. So buckle up because this isn't just a stroll through boxing history. This is a no-holds-barred confession session from the biggest names in boxing. All testifying under the bright lights about the unrelenting force that was and still is Manny Pacquiao.
Congratulations. This is a beautiful gym. I hope that there's a lot of people will inspire to train here. Thank you. Congrats. Mike, congrats. Congratulations. Yes, beautiful. I'm here to support you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
Oscar de la Hoya found out the hard way. The Golden Boy, once untouchable, walked into that fight with Manny with the air of a man who had seen it all. But he hadn't seen Manny. Not like that. De la Hoya entered the ring with pride, history, and championships. He left it questioning everything. Every punch Manny threw wasn't just fast. It was surgical. De la Hoya couldn't breathe, couldn't move, and then like a tragic Shakespearean hero, admitted something no fighter should ever have to say. He knew it was over before it started. That fight wasn't just a loss, it was an exorcism. Pacquiao didn't just beat De La Hoya. He purged him from relevance. You know the great thing about Manny? He didn't just beat you with fists. He beat you with movement. He beat you with rhythm. He turned every match into a symphony and every opponent into a guest conductor being led off a cliff. Floyd Mayweather, the untouchable maestro of defense, admitted that Manny was probably the best he'd ever faced. That's no small compliment from a man who could dodge bullets with shoulder rolls. But even Floyd couldn't deny that Pacquiao's angles, his footwork, his combinations, it all came together like jazz. Brutal, beautiful jazz.
It kind of shocked me because Pacquiao tends to lead with his head, which is how Marquez got him in that third fight.
Correct.
But he was quicker.
He was quicker. He was predictably more aggressive. He connected more. That 8th and 9th round, he was all over Adrian Broner. All over him.
And then there's Joshua Clottey. Now, here's a man who, for reasons unknown, decided to walk into the storm with an umbrella made of ego. He didn't just lose. He folded like cheap origami. And years later, Clottey practically admitted what fans suspected. He never stood a chance. He was underpaid, underprepared, and outclassed. He couldn't even find the will to throw. Manny's punches came in flurries like machine gun fire from every direction. And Clottey's only goal became survival. But Manny didn't just humble champions. He made them rethink their careers. Keith Thurman came in hot, full of bravado, calling himself the new king of the welterweights. But Manny was 40 years old, and he treated Thurman like a sparring dummy. One knockdown, then another. And while Thurman showed heart, he couldn't do what most of Manny's opponents couldn't either. Solve the puzzle. Pacquiao's speed, his timing, that violent left hand. By the time you figured out how to react, he'd already moved 3 steps ahead.
Has a case for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived. Think about, by the way, I don't think he wins that argument. Sugar Ray Robinson is safely ensconced in that position. But Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Harry Greb, Sam Langford, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, whoever else you want to mention.
Even broadcasters couldn't keep neutral. Max Kellerman, a man who's made a career out of talking logic and stats, nearly exploded with admiration trying to describe how utterly ridiculous Manny's rise was. From flyweight all the way up to welterweight, winning lineal championships along the way. That's like a chess player winning world titles with every piece on the board. Nobody had done it before. Nobody's done it since. And odds are nobody ever will. When Robert Garcia, one of the sharpest minds in boxing, compared Pacquiao's 8-division feat to Mayweather's undefeated record, he didn't even flinch. The undefeated record, impressive, sure, but anyone with a good promoter and a padded resume could get there. 8 divisions, though, that's a gladiator's resume. That's not picking fights. That's fighting everyone, anyone, anywhere, and still walking out with your arms raised.
Because I'm sure mentally you prepared as well as physically prepared, Shane, but you know.
They have shuttles. Yeah, they have shuttles, bro. Just in case.
Shane.
No, Shane took everything.
With Pacquiao. I remember one thing. I remember him wrapping his hands. Pacquiao.
Because he wraps his own hands. I remember, yeah.
And he kept asking me.
Antonio Margarito learned the hard way what happens when you underestimate Pacquiao. He thought his size would matter. He thought being a bigger man meant something. But Manny made him look like a lumbering ox. Punch after punch, round after round, Pacquiao painted his face with leather. By the end of the fight, Margarito wasn't just beaten. He was medically rearranged. Bones shattered, spirit broken, and the idea of size advantage thrown out the window. Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, had no problem calling it like it is. According to him, Pacquiao wasn't just good. He was sensational. The kind of fighter who made you question reality. Because when you watched him fight, it was like watching someone who hacked the rules of boxing and rewrote the code. Even legendary promoter Bob Arum didn't hide his awe. He saw in Manny the same spirit he once saw in Muhammad Ali. Not just in the ring, but outside it. A force that transcended boxing. A personality that lifted nations and punched through politics. A man who with nothing but fists and a smile became a hero to millions.
We have to see that fight. So Pacquiao's peak was just about as good as anyone in history. Now, I'd have favored Mayweather back then. He's the naturally larger fighter. And that's the point. When you talk about pound for pound, if a fighter moves up out of his natural weight class and can still compete with the best who ever did it, what does that mean about the quality of that fighter's prime, pound for pound?
Tim Bradley, who faced both Manny and Terence Crawford, gave us a masterclass in insight. According to him, Manny wasn't just a fast starter. Manny wasn't just power or speed. He was instinct, a living, breathing reflex machine. He didn't react. He anticipated. While you were throwing your first jab, Manny was landing his third. And let's not forget the subtle psychological warfare. Manny smiled at you, laughed, looked like a choir boy. But then he'd break your ribs with the same fist. That contradiction, the gentleman outside the ring and the demon inside it, left opponents mentally disarmed. They couldn't hate him. And when you can't hate the guy pounding your face, it's a whole different kind of pain.